Hey everybody, it's Lynn here from A Bit of Birdsong, and I've been saying for forever that I want to make furniture and things for the dollhouse. I used to have, I think it's still up, but I used to keep a blog. It was homemadedollhouse.blogspot.com. I think that was it. I'm not telling anybody to go there. It has been ages since I did anything with that blog. I don't know if that blog is even safe to look at regarding viruses, upkeep. I mean, Blogspot or blogger.com, I think it was always fairly safe, but that is where I put all the pictures where Michaela and I would work on her dollhouse when she was about 10 years old. So that was 15 years ago. And unfortunately, some of the photos that I had used in that blog, they were sourced from where I had my big website. I used to have a big website, and I think the link to it is still in some of my video descriptions, and I'm trying to get rid of that because I don't own that domain anymore. It was a mothersjournal.com, and don't go to that. It's not mine anymore, and it seems like it goes to some gambling thing or something. I don't know. I probably should have kept it, but I'm telling way too long of a story. My website ended up getting hacked, and I was very disappointed in the hosting service. I've since changed hosting services. They just shut the website down, and then they told me it would be so many $100s per hour for them to fix it, or I could fix it. Well, I did know how to write HTML. A lot of us from my generation remember the old internet when you wrote your own web pages. But as far as going into a cPanel and going through all the files, and by this time blogs had started having style sheets, I wasn't sure I could find what was wrong with it. So I started over for a while, built the website again, and I finally just gave up on it. I can't remember what happened the second time, but it was something similar where I don't know. I'm so sad that that blog is gone, because that had all the years of our homeschooling, all of my children. There were pictures from way, way, way back. Different things we had done, field trips, things we made, and a lot of dollhouse stuff. And then I got into the dollhouse stuff so much, we ended up making our own blog. But I'm going to try to start doing this again. I have a couple of little boxes here that I just hot glued together, and I think I want to make some sort of little shelf. Let me push this box back that's on the top and line those up a little bit better. And hopefully that will stay. Yeah, it seems like it's on there pretty good. We can put a little more across the back. This glue gun gets so incredibly hot. It's high temp. I got this when I was at Joann's. I mean, this thing gets hot, and it's almost scary hot. I have these little wooden sticks that I bought from the scrap exchange. They have all kinds of things like this in barrels. And now I'm just wondering if I want to cut some of these down to go around and make like a wood veneer or a wood whatever outer casing for this thing. I just wonder how that would look and where we would have to cut these. They should be pretty easy to cut. Let me grab my pliers if I can find them. Let's see, we have these. I think my heavier pair that does heavier cutting might be out in my garden area. But look, that goes right through there. So easy. So easy. So let's cut these to fit. I love the way they're flying off in every direction. And they're popping off of those jars over there, which that's cool because we want to keep up with those. We're going to use them. It's nice and cozy out here this morning. It's been raining, so the ground is really wet. But the rain has stopped and the sun finally came out. Jason plays tonight and we have to leave kind of early. We have to leave at 4. So the day's just going to get away from me. I know it is. And it's it's Fiber Arts Friday, or Friday Fiber Arts. I think I call it both. So that's why I sometimes get tongue-tied with that. So I'm not sure yet that I will have Friday Fiber Arts packs per se, but I have some journals that I want to sell. So I thought, let me do this real quick and then I'll list the journals. I've got to get the packages out today from the midweek fun pack. So they're all inside and they're ready to go. It takes a little while to package things up and I try to put everything in plastic. So I feel like I'm constantly going to get packaging supplies, which I don't mind. I love to get out of the house. Now that I'm here all the time, it feels really good to get out and go somewhere. So I think that might be cute. I like that. So maybe we could try to put some hot glue on here. The nice thing about the high temp is that it is so hot. It does give you a little bit of time to lay things down. That part's really nice. So let's see if I can do maybe 3 at a time. I just get those started. And see, when I make this dollhouse furniture, it is not fancy. Not at all. It is bits and bobs, and it ends up making the cutest, quaintest little dollhouses. Everything just feels so like it feels 1970s. It's what we actually used to have to use. So we've got that side done. This will give the box a whole lot more support too. That one, I'm gonna leave it. I was gonna pull that one out because it's bouncing back. It's curved a little bit this way, so it didn't make contact with glue in the center, but that's okay. I don't think we really need to put anything on the back. We might add some pretty paper just to make it feel finished. How many did we need? 4, 5, 6, 7. So we needed 12 of these. Let's go ahead and cut down some more. And we will do this side. And then we'll decide what to do at the top. Dolls always need furniture and storage. I've been looking for my awl again this morning. I cannot find that thing. It is just crazy. I truly hope I didn't throw it away. Part of me feels like it is somewhere in here. And I've done things like that before. I had something in my hand and I was doing something with the awl that I don't always do. I had poked a hole in a bottle cap. And now I don't need to do that because I got this really cool thing that'll punch holes in them. Thank you, Jennifer. And I don't know. My mind could have been like wandering down a different pathway because I was punching a hole in something I don't always punch holes in like that with that particular awl. So I could have done something different with it. And there's so much in here. I keep thinking I'm gonna find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I keep thinking I'm gonna find it in some bizarre place where the minute I see it, I will remember putting it there. I'm to the point now where I'm thinking the only alternative situation to that. Good grief. I'm to the point where I'm thinking the only alternative situation is that it fell over into my trash can and it's gone forever, which makes me really sad. But I did find something this morning while I was looking that I forgot I had. Of course I did. And I can use it. Why is this thing acting like this? Get in there. what's happening. There we go. So I'm excited. Whoa, that's hot. I'm excited about that. And I will show you. I can't do it right now because I want to get to work on this before this glue starts to cool off. Hopefully it'll be fine, this thing that I found. So let's start at the front to make sure that part comes all the way forward and is even. And I did 4 at a time there, but I'm pretty much doing 3 at a time and just laying those right down. And starting to cool off, so let's go back over it. Even just with that heated tip, it helps to melt it again. And this one might only take, no, it's gonna take 12. I left a little space at the bottom here. Can I roll these over? So now we have, that's so cute. Look at that. So now we have our sides, and that's gonna help the box to be sturdy if we put little shelves in there. And of course, if we end up staining this, it's gonna make it even more sturdy. And that paint or stain or whatever we put on it is gonna help this all stay adhered to the box underneath. Now I'm wondering, I think I probably need to go ahead and put sticks across here too, to make it look like a proper piece of furniture from a 1970s clubhouse, right? So I had the neatest little clubhouse when I was young. Now at the time I wanted so much more, you know. I wanted a really fancy $100,000 tree house that was finished out and looked like something from a movie. But what my dad did for us, and it was down, so we grew up on 5 acres of land in the sand hills, and the soil was really sandy. We had sand spurs, we had a lot of pine trees, and the pine trees there are gorgeous. We had those huge pine cones that people pay money for at Christmas time. We grew up in a house that was built in the early 1900s, so even when I was there growing up in the 70s, the house already felt old. You know, it was already pushing 70 years old. So it was a fun, beautiful old house. And behind the house, my dad had a little workshop, and there was like a dog pen or whatever. That's what we called it. But some of the time we were there, we had a duck living in it that thought it was a dog. I digress, but it was a beautiful old cinder block, not even cinder blocks. From the top, they were flat, but they were more fancy. So when you turned them on their sides, and with old, you know, regular old cheap cinder blocks, I don't want to say cheap, but you know what I mean, the inexpensive, the basic, you've got the 2 big holes. These were different. These were like decorative blocks. So they kind of crossed in the center, and they were smoother. So there was this fence that started at the back of my dad's workshop and kind of went across, and it had been extended somewhat to make a place for dogs to stay in. And then there was like a little path beside it that went down to the edge of a pine woods, and we had what they called scrub oaks too. We had all different kinds of oaks. We had sassafras trees. We had a huge magnolia in the front yard. We had azaleas. But down where the woods first started, my dad had built this 3-sided structure. It was wood, and I don't remember what the sides were made out of. I know that the roof was tin, and it slanted. So the front of the building was taller than the back, so that roof would slant down and the rain would run off. And it was completely open in the front. I mean, looking back, I don't know why I didn't think to hang up a curtain or something. I always wanted it to have a door. But you know, I'm sure that I know why my dad did that. They could look out the back door and they could see down there into that little place. They could see us. But it gave us a place to play, and we had all sorts of stuff in there. That was our clubhouse. And we did have some of the old-fashioned plain old simple cinder blocks in there. We would stack them, and we would use the holes in them for our mailboxes. So the club members, you know, which were the girls that lived, it was me, my sister Andy, our neighbor Mickey, and then another neighbor Pam, and then a boy named Scott. He had, you know, guy friends, but he was 1 year older than me, bless him and rest his soul. He passed away about a year ago. We would rope him in sometimes to judge our beauty pageants that we would have. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, except that this is the kind of stuff we built. We weren't inside watching TV. We were never inside watching TV except for Saturday mornings. So that's where all the kids were. You know, none of us were out because cartoons only lasted, they would start probably 7 o'clock on Saturday mornings, maybe not the most desirable ones. But then by 8 and 9 o'clock, all the good cartoons were rolling. And you would watch all your favorite cartoons, and it would go until probably noon. And things would start coming on like American Bandstand, Soul Train, really, really, really cool shows. And it would go on into stuff like Lawrence Welk, and I think on Saturday nights you had Carol Burnett. Who remembers Shock Theater? I feel like I'm the only person in the world who remembers that scary show. Anyway, so once cartoons ended, you turned off the TV. There was no cable, there were no phones, there were no computers, none of that. We were outside for the rest of the day. Or if it was bad weather or hot, you would ask your mom, you know, can I go inside so-and-so's house? And you would go inside and play. And we played dolls. Pam and I loved Barbies, and we had so many Barbies, and we would make furniture. She would bring her big pink Barbie trunk with the dolls and clothes, or I would take my, you know, your Barbie case or your Barbie trunk or whatever, bright pink plastic or vinyl or whatever, with a little rod in it where you could hang up the clothes. So one of us would go to the other's house, and we would take all of our stuff. And sometimes we would have made something new, like a little piece of furniture or some sort of clothing or a little bag. And it could have been anything from something that we got help with making on the sewing machine to, you know, stapled up notebook paper. It was just fun times. And I don't think I ever got over wanting to make stuff. And that's okay, because my daughter learned to do all this stuff too. Because I just wasn't ready to stop. So that's very fun. I got a little too much glue on the outside here where I rolled those towards the front. But that's okay. It's kind of just rolling right off. And then across the top, what do we want to put in here? We need to make the inside prettier. So I'm wondering if we should glue some pretty paper in there to make it like a little kitchen cupboard or something. That's wallpaper. I don't know that I want to use that though, but that kind of goes with that. That kind of goes with those wooden sticks. So what if we, let's see, let's cut right here. Might as well go straight across there. So this one needs to be about that wide. And how tall? Right here. We'll fine tune it. I think I need to take a little bit off the side. Now that I've crammed it down in there, might be kind of hard to get out. But we will not be dismayed. Okay. Yeah, we need to take a tiny bit off the top and a tiny bit off the side. And I'm thinking I might want to use the tacky glue on this. So let's put a little bit of that in there and spread that around. I love this this spatula. This is amazing. It has changed my life. Oops, hello. So let's put that down. Oh yeah, that's gonna be so pretty. So we know, let's keep going here. We know that we need the same, pretty much the same width. How deep does this need to be? Maybe about right here. And take a little off the side. Let's see if that'll fit a little bit more. Let's see if that'll fit right down in there. Almost. And it's still a little bit snug on the side as well. And about that much. So that's perfect. So let's go ahead. It's almost perfect. It seems to be, I think it's down in this, it is, it's down in this corner. There was just one corner that was flaring out a little bit. Oh, hello. So let's put this right here. And we need to do the sides. So I'm wondering if we want to use just keep it. Let's do this. Let's use some of that brown. Actually going to be a little bit more than just the brown, but that's okay. I'm trying to figure out how we can bring this in so that that ends up in the top there. This looks like some sort of like somebody went on a trip to Asia. You know, that's what we'll pretend. One of the dolls went to Asia and they bought this really cool antique piece. It's got all of this amazing design in it. There, that's pretty. So let's cut off just a tiny bit more. So that's going to go in on that side, and we will make the black strip there go towards the back to kind of connect with the black in the back. And that's looking pretty good, except again, I think it's just sort of flaring out. So now that we know what size we need exactly, and I can tell this one is flaring out a little bit too. Let's go ahead and cut this one to match. So that gives us these two pieces. So let's go ahead and put those in. This is going to be so perfect. I love that tacky glue hangs on the way it does. It's not really running around or anything like that. Okay, so that piece in, and oops, that. I thought they were the same size. That piece needs a little to come off of it though. That's better. So we have those done, and I should have cut a piece to match that for the top, but that's okay, because I think this is pretty much, let me cut off of this side so that that's more centered, and I can tell there's some tiny little lines on the back of here that help you line it up if it's harder to get from the front. Needs a little bit more to come off. Oh, that's perfect. Well, not quite, but I mean the way the design is lining up. Very, very nice. I'll show you on the inside. So that goes in there, and then we need to cut it at about right there. So you can see that little circle in here, and that it's not exact, but see, at least they're in there together, close by. So, but yeah, that's good. And that brings the brown out to this part of things, if that makes sense. And then we just have to do the top. Okay, so there's that. Great so far. Get this glue off the bottom here because we want it to look nice and expensive. And now what were we gonna do? We're gonna try. So obviously this whole thing's not gonna fit. And I'm just guesstimating, I think we need to come up about right here. We might as well cut all the way across. And then right here. And again, we can fine tune that. So that's almost perfect. I think a little needs to come off of this side. So let me look at these. Lines in the back. And that gives us a piece for right here. And let's cut back far enough. And you know what I think we'll do? I think we'll put a little bit of wood across here and maybe across the top. We'll just finish it out and make it look nice and finished. So I do need to trim this piece down. It's not straight. You can, I don't know if you can see it. I can definitely see it with these lines here. And that's not quite straight. So we've got this. Let's go ahead and cut a piece to match. Go ahead and do this in the brown. That'll be up above. Let's make sure that fits. It needs just a tiny bit more off. I want it to be flush with the box and not sticking out at all, because it'll get ragged, and we want it to feel finished. So let's take these two pieces. And get some glue on those. I don't want those blobs on there though. A tiny bit more glue. So yeah, so we're going to put the black piece at the bottom. And I can just hear the mom of the house. Oh, honey, I think this is a perfect piece for the dollhouse because the colors will hide dirt. I always used to wonder about that kind of thing, which my mom is, she's like the cleanest, neatest. I mean, it's unbelievable. But, so I'm not saying that she said stuff like that. I don't ever remember. Well, maybe she said it about carpets or something like that. I don't know. Mom, I'm just trying to make you sound normal and not so perfect like you are. But I always used to wonder about when people would use that phrase. Does that mean that you don't care if the dirt is there? And you can just leave it there and people won't see it? But I know that's not what was meant. But that used to puzzle me a little bit. So we don't want to lose this piece. This is the piece that's going in the back. And we're going to be able to get more of the design this way. So that needs to be cut about right there. I love my mom. I've got the best mom in the world. She'll say, oh, I'm not. And I'll say, yes, you are. And I will fight people over that. There's nothing like a good mama. So that can go right in the back. And I think that's going to fit just right. And then all we need to do is those sides. So talking about making this furniture, I love doing things like this, and I save all sorts of things. I've got a really cool little bottle right now. It's plastic. I saw them at the scrap exchange, and I picked up a couple of them and bought them because I think they're going to make amazing lights for the dollhouse. I haven't decided yet what I want to use as the base. Look, that's so pretty. But we will, like these sticks. I saw these sticks and I said, well, I'm going to grab a handful because I know we can use them in the dollhouse furniture. But it's just so nice to save little things like this. And I think, you know, that's like the generation of my grandparents. You didn't throw things away like we do today, because you didn't know if you might need something. You didn't know when times might get hard and you would need something and then not have it. So I do try to save little things that I think I can use. And I like this stuff a whole lot better than going to some craft store or hobby store and paying $50 for a little piece of furniture that the legs are going to break off of the first time you put a doll in the chair, or the first time a real child tries to play with it. That needs to have a little more taken off. Yeah, that's good. So let's go ahead and get a piece this exact same size. I'm wondering if I can find some of the old pictures of the dollhouse stuff that Michaela and I did to at least start putting on Ko-fi. You know, I just have my website going to Ko-fi now, my domain. I have stuff in my Etsy shop and my Ko-fi shop. There are things about each one that I like and things that I feel like are limitations. But I feel like, you know, the sites are going to be there. I hope that Ko-fi will be there. I could store the pictures, our old dollhouse pictures. You know what? Maybe I'll try to start working on that, because that would be a good place just to showcase the things that we did without worrying about going back and trying to fill in the pictures on that old blog. That's really hard to do. And I don't know if you've ever built websites or blogs, you would know what I'm talking about. When you get ready to put a picture in, If you just use Blogger, if you just use their software, you can just click add a picture and it goes to your files on your computer and you pull it in so it's hosted on the Blogspot or Blogger server. But sometimes with my pictures, I would want to do them a little differently. Like maybe the size, or I have more control over how they looked. So they would be stored on the server with my website, and I would pull them in with the HTML code. Like, you know, it would be, you use the brackets or whatever. So some of the posts that are on that blog, since they were stored on the site that's no longer there, you don't get anything. The image is not there anymore. The blog post is still there. So maybe instead of trying to go back and rebuild that stuff, I mean, I don't know that there's any need in that. I can start putting these images on Ko-fi when I find them on my files, on my thumb drives and stuff. I think this is going to be, there's going to be room for 2 pieces. Oh, that ends up being perfect, I guess. One's a little longer than the other. Or should I better make them the right size? Because we're trying to make this be really, really nice. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, I like that. So let's try to, whoa, I was going to say let's try to do this neatly, and then a whole blob came out. So there's that, and let's put those down right there. We could put some shelves in here. I mean, I think we probably need to. Either that, or this would be a fun wardrobe if we put a bar across it where they could hang clothing. And then put something up here. I don't know yet. Let's keep working on it. We know something's going to go in it. It kind of reminds me, though, of a piece of living room furniture where you would want to have shelving, like for books and knickknacks. Oops. Let go of one side of that. That looks like the right size. How many do we need? Almost there. Maybe maybe 3 more. Whoa. Yeah, well, I know we have enough. I thought maybe I cut one too many, but what does it matter? I mean, I don't know why I'm spending time, because I'm just going to keep it anyway. And put it back in the supplies. Oh yeah, I forgot. I've been starting at the front to make it look nice and neat. Need a little bit more glue. So I had just the right amount. It's hard to tell until you start putting them down. So that, and then that. And we can come up under here and push that down. That one, I still need a tiny bit more glue on that one in the back. There, that should do it. So look at this. This is where we are so far. So cute. And I'm wondering if we should stain it at all. And I'm thinking, what would we stain it with? We could stain it with coffee on the outside. Here's my dried up coffee that I've been using for everything. And let's get this, we could also paint it, but you know, there's a lot more furniture to make yet. We're not gonna freak out. We have choices that we're gonna be making about other things as well. Oh, look, that's pretty. Huh, and it smells like instant coffee. Oh yeah, we gotta go ahead and stain it. That's amazing. Look at that. We're so awesome. Talk about something that would hide dirt. I mean, if you spilled your coffee on this, oh, it's stained with coffee anyway, don't worry. It's okay if you spill your coffee. That's so cool. Do you think it's cool? I do. We got to let it dry a little bit. I think I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer because I don't want it to, I don't know that it'll warp any of these sticks, but I don't want it to. So I want to go ahead and dry it out. I also like that this stain is kind of getting the fronts of the boxes. I think it makes it look more like they're made of wood. I still need to think about shelves. I know this video is getting long. I can tell. We've been playing in here for a while. So I'm not going to try to do shelving right now, but I think I will add some shelves. I could also turn the camera off and work on that and come back. I can tell you what my thought process would be though. I would take something sturdy enough, I would measure it to go all the way across and with a little extra so that you can turn the sides down. Or you know what else? You could glue these in like wood to hold the shelf. That might be what I would do with this. Yes, that would be good with this, I think. But the other thing is to take something sturdy like cardboard or a chipboard and make it long enough that you can score it and turn some pieces under so that you can glue those flaps in. And if you covered it all the way around with the wallpaper, you know, you're just going to have a shelf that's glued in there. I think it definitely needs a shelf down here and one up here. I really do. Okay, let me dry this a little bit. Okay, I had to turn the camera back on. I've got the hot glue gun heating up again. I think I might need another glue stick in a little bit. So what I did, we've got this, I painted the back with a really 70s green color. And I've been drying it with the dryer. That makes it look a little more finished. What color is this? It's called Yellow Citron. Really fun. That was 50 cents. It was brand new. And then I went and got some cardboard and I cut out the exact size to just slide right in and be a shelf. So what we want to do is reinforce it with some of the little wooden dowels that we're going to cut down, and then this one fits right in the top here. The way I did it, I tried to cut the wallpaper so that we're going to have this little edge near the front on each piece to make it look more finished. I didn't have it for the bottom part, but it's going to be on the top. So I did cover both sides, and both sides of this have it. I thought I would take a little piece of the wood as well and hot glue it across the front to make it look finished. That way we don't see those ripply sort of flutes in the cardboard. That's our power word for today, flutes. That's what you call those air pockets inside the cardboard. So I think that'll glue right on the front. We'll have to stain that to match the rest. I don't know if the hot glue gun is hot enough yet. Maybe I won't glue these on the front yet. We need to see how they're going to fit in here. And I think one of the tricky parts is going to be cutting these pieces to hold the drawer up. I mean the shelf. So let's cut two. Whoa, about this size. Those are for the top. And then they don't have to come all the way out to the edge. And two about this size. I mean, we could measure to get them exact. And if we did that, so let's put this one, and if we glue these little wooden pieces over, it's gonna cover up our mark. So I'm gonna start with this red line right at the bottom, and let's go up exactly 2 inches and make a little mark. And then let's do the same on this one. So we'll start right at the bottom and go up exactly 2 inches and make a mark. So that's where we're going to glue in our little dowels. And then for this top one, I think if we go in, this one's harder because I can't really get it totally flat at the bottom, but let's go with 1 inch. on that side. It's going to be harder to see that mark too on the black. And about right there, I think. Okay. Let's see if this has gotten hot. And I think I might need my tweezers because this glue gets crazy hot. Or I guess I could put a strip of glue right across that line and just press that in it. Yeah, I think that might be the thing to do. And then, wait. Oh yeah, we need the shorter one here. And then let me go back in on this side. And put that down. Well, it's not going to be perfect. I can tell that one's angled a little bit. But look, I really think that's going to help hold it. I think that's going to be awesome. And we could put... That's going to be so cool. Whoa, it's already sticking. I don't think I even need to add glue to that. So that's pushed in all the way, and now let's get a piece. Oh, that already fits perfectly. But let's go ahead and cut two because I might cover those up as well. Those little ones that are running out towards us so that, oh, that's gonna be so perfect. Okay, so we need more glue across here. Let's put that first one in. Whoa, that is hot. And let's put a dot on the end of this and the end of this and maybe run it up under a little bit so it has more to grab onto. There, look, I think that's perfect. Oh my goodness. I had to turn the camera back on because I felt like this was going to be fun to finish up, and you might want to see how I went about doing this part. I mean, not that it takes any kind of expert skill. We're making dollhouse furniture out of trash, basically. So let's get, is that the right one? So I'll put a drop of glue there. And let's slide that in. And then come over to this side. So when I cut these little dowels, I did not bring them all the way out to the very edge. I don't know, you might have noticed I angled in a little bit to make those shorter than the actual box itself, which gives us room to put something over it, which, you know, which we're doing. So now, before I slide this in, I might go ahead and put a little bit of glue on each end. And that's going to help all of that stay. I mean, that is in there. These little things on the side are staying way more than I thought they would. So now let's cut a couple of pieces to go across the front of this. This is so fun. This is exactly what I need to be doing today. And then when I'm done with this video, I'm going to get on packaging, mailing, and I got to get those journals listed. I started to say something about the journals, but I'll tell you about them when I actually do a video real quick. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? So we got to pull off the excess glue and stain. Now we have to stain the additional pieces of wood. So let's get our little paintbrush back out that's at this point got green paint in it. Let's rinse it out. And we're not going to worry too much about any green paint that's still in there. This is so fun. See, this is why I've been wanting to do this. I just knew. I know how much the fun this is because this is what Michaela and I used to do. And I tell you, a really cool way to find things for your dollhouse is Christmas ornaments and little Christmas knickknacks, because a lot of times you'll find little clocks, like mantle clocks, and little pieces of fruit or flowers, little bells and things that you can end up using on furniture and doors and just stuff like that. So look at that. That's finished. Trying to get some extra stain right there on that cardboard. I think that's pretty awesome. So then on the bottom, you know how things say made in China or made in Canada or made in Thailand or made in the USA. This was made in Paper Town. 25. Love it. Oh, I'm so excited. So that's our piece of furniture for today. If you've been hanging around all the way to the end, leave me a green heart. That would be so awesome. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share this video on social media. I'm trying to get to 8,000. I would love to get to 10,000 because it helps so much to have the support of the channel to be able to do this full time. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time to create and edit videos. So I appreciate every single person who's here. I read all the comments. Sometimes it takes me a few days to catch up and answer everything. I appreciate every single thumbs up. I just appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon. Bye for now.